There has been an extreme amount of hate on Marathon lately, dude. Right after the reveal, we saw some of the biggest hate for a game since Concord. Okay? And that doesn't make sense. I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. To me, someone who got to test the game, someone who played the game, hearing people who haven't touched the game and watched 10 minutes of a trailer and a gameplay and whatever, and you're saying it's dead on arrival, and you're saying it's Concord 2. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. You can't talk like that. Doesn't make sense. You haven't touched the game yet. You haven't put your hands on the game yet. It got to the point, ladies and gentlemen, it got to the point where this man that developed Concord, okay, had to come on Marathon Twitter to defend them. And I want to go through that real quick, real fast. I want to talk about it. Look at this guy. This guy is a Concord developer. And if you don't know Concord or what that was, essentially there was a lot of money spent on the game, an egregious amount of money spent on the game. I think it was upwards of 500 million or something, maybe 2 to 500 million. I'm not exactly sure. It's just a lot of money, and it flopped. I think it had if we go to look at Steam charts, if it's even up there, I'm not exactly sure if it's up there or not. But I believe it had a peak of like 600 players or something. There it is. Is this it? This might be it. This might be it. The all-time peak for Concord was 660. It has 0 people on there right now. It's legitimately dead completely. They had a peak player of 1. Okay? And we're talking about a game that hundreds of millions of dollars was spent on this game to develop it, and it flopped. You know, it is what it is. They even paid some content creators to play the game. Marathon's being somehow compared to that game. And listen, I watched streamers play it and immediately said no. But I watched streamers play it full on through, like, you know, from start to finish, game start, game finish. And we'll get into that in a minute. We'll get into that in a minute. I know you're gonna say, we watch streamers play the game, Tim. No, we'll get into that in 1 second, okay? So I wanna go through this. It says, hey y'all, former Firewalk Studios dev here. I've been a long-time lurker for many years in this is the Marathon Reddit, okay? And rarely post to Reddit or any social in regards to what's going on with my life as a developer / artist. After reading the comments about Marathon being Concord 2.0 on Reddit, YouTube, and Twitch, I wanted to share a little insight into what a 40-year-old man is feeling after dedicating a large portion of his life to making video games. And he goes into his life a little bit, and obviously he says he's worked with a lot of talented devs and, you know, over the years and all of that. But, you know, he said many players know about Concord and what happened with that project. Concord failed to inspire players, and the messages were heard loud and clear. It was gut-wrenching to see the project fail and be the laughing stock of many online. I have learned now. I just want to stop right there. I didn't like the game. I didn't like the game at all. I saw it had a 600 player count. I saw that. Did I go on a forum and say, oh my gosh, these guys are awful. Holy frick, these devs made this much of a game. They spent this much money and there was only 600 players. Did I go do that? No, why? Because I'm a human, a decent human being with empathy and with maturity sometimes. Sometimes maturity. We'll get back to that after, but you understand what I'm saying. I didn't go on the forum and say something like that, right? No one feels as bad as the people who put their time on the line hoping to entertain the masses. Are you hearing that? Hoping to entertain the masses of gamers across the globe. I'm not asking for pity or sympathy because all of this is the name of the game. You win or lose. Blah, blah. Okay. Some of you probably smell blood in the water. Nail on the head. That's exactly what people smell. Oh, This streamer said this game's not good. Oh, this is time. This is my moment to get 10 likes on Twitter. Oh, yes. Concord V2. Like, that's exactly what's happening, right? That's exactly what's going on. And listen, I want to make this very clear. I got paid to go to Bungie Studios in October. I am not paid to like Marathon right now. In fact, I have enough confidence in myself as a content creator that I think I could do content for any game out there. And if I like the game, I think I could do well. I chose Marathon because it is a game that I really, truly enjoy. That aside, I know I also really, truly enjoyed Halo Infinite, where a lot of others didn't as well. But we'll get to that after. As well in a moment. But regardless, okay. So you smell blood in the water and probably want to roast me for no longer lurking, exposing myself. I hope you don't, and see the people create these projects work very hard to be the next big thing. Seeing the faces of the developers of the Bungie team stream gave me hope and excitement for what's to come for Marathon. I commend them for taking a chance and trying something foreign to them that isn't proven or guaranteed to succeed. Okay, so I want to talk about that part real quick. All right, now listen, let's think back real quick. Okay, we'll just start with Marathon 1. Marathon 1 is, if I'm not mistaken, and I didn't play it, but this is what I've gathered, is the first game to allow, like the first game to like allow input on a first-person shooter on a mouse, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But let's just pass Marathon. Let's just pretend that Tim has no idea what he's talking about, and that fact was not even a thing. Let's just pretend that. That's fine. Halo. The first FPS on console to actually work, to revolutionize FPS on console. Do you understand what that means? Revolutionize. Halo revolutionized FPS on console, okay? On Xbox. Revolutionized it, right? Now you go to Destiny, a PvE, some PvP as well in different modes. MMO FPS looter shooter. Was that ever done before Destiny? Destiny was the one that made that cool, okay? What I'm trying to explain here is Bungie does not like to travel the lane that everyone else travels. Never do they do this. In every IP they've made, they have traveled their own lane. They've carved their own path every time. And every time, it has been revolutionary, okay? We're talking about now them going into an extraction shooter and everyone's thought process. Oh my gosh, extraction shooter. And all they can see in their eyes is milsim, hardcore, milsim. Like, that's all people can see because that's all we've pretty much had with extraction shooters. Of course, there's Cycle and there's a couple of other ones like Delta Force that have also, you know, shaken things up a bit, but most of them are milsims, right? Most of them. Bungie, once again, and they said this in many interviews, are creating their own path where they're allowing people to get into an extraction shooter and make it accessible for everybody, right? They make it accessible for everybody. And that's what they're trying to do with Marathon. They're trying to make an extraction shooter where everyone can play. And I listened to an interview as well with, I believe, one of the gameplay directors. And basically they mentioned that even if you die the entire day, let's say you lose all of your loot. First off, you get that package where you're able to get a free loadout that is like a beginner tier loadout that you can use to get right back in. That's number one, based on your faction, based on how much rep you have with them. That's number one. And number two, they said that there's going to be things that you kind of earn as you go as well. Like, let's say you get a whole bunch of UESC kills. That's going to add up no matter if you die or not. So you feel like you're doing something during that time that you're playing. And for some of you, you don't have all the time in the world to dedicate to an extraction shooter or dedicate to any video games. Everyone's life is very busy. I'm sure you would agree. Your life is very busy. So like having to dedicate all that time and being bad because it's PvP or whatever, it's going to make it a little difficult to be interested and excited. So it's Bungie now trying to bring in an entire audience of people that really don't play extraction shooters and maybe haven't given them a shot because they see how hardcore it is in terms of Tarkov, etc. Right? So that in and of itself is a big deal. But the big thing is for me is like, I don't think, you know, this is one thing or whatever, you know, I feel bad that he has to come by and say something like this. That is, you know, in and of itself, that is a little bit sad. But the biggest thing that's sad for me is just the reception on Marathon, right? And it's like, I don't think it's people's fault. I'm going to be honest. Again, I'm not paid to say anything I'm saying right now. So I'm going to point the finger at Bungie. And by that, I mean somehow, and I don't know how, because I'm going to be honest with you, being a part of the ARG last weekend, being a part of the reveal this weekend, you saw me on stream. That was all genuine. I was very excited. Even seeing it for the second time, because I made a video on it, even seeing it for the second time, what excited me was you guys in the chat popping off. That was awesome, because that's how excited I was, right? But let's just put that aside. Somehow, it was not conveyed correctly what the game was. Somehow, okay? Somehow the trailers didn't convey the game correctly or whatever. But, you know, you obviously see a lot of great art here that people have made, and that's awesome. You do have some of the people that are very happy about the game, but obviously this is one of the bigger things here, right? Marathon won't be free to play, and people are automatically thinking, dude, oh my gosh, you know, like, not free to play, that's not good. We have to pay money for a game. I get it. Tough times. Completely understand. We're in a tough time right now. So like having to pay for a game and then seeing that trailer and not really being interested, you're automatically going to go ahead and say something about it. Completely understand. But the reason I put it onto Bungie is because, again, I don't feel like they conveyed what I played on the test. And I'll get into the test compared to now in a little bit. But what I played on the test, playing the game itself, was very different than seeing those trailers. And for a while, after watching that trailer, I sat here and said, am I crazy again? And I'm not joking, because I played Halo Infinite and I loved Halo Infinite a lot. Go look at the player count for Halo Infinite. I was invested with Halo Infinite for 4 years. Go look at the player count. Many do not share the same sentiment, and I understand. So already, it was me thinking, darn, once again, I like something that no one else likes. Once again, I'm wrong, according to the masses, whatever, right? Once again, maybe that's what it is. But no, that's not what it is. I go over here to my man Marathon Intel. By the way, I just want to point something out real quick. Really scummy. And I feel like this I don't know how this wouldn't be intentional. I'm not sure, but not Marathon the game. I'm not sure how this would be intentional, to be honest with you. I hope they fix it. But Marathon Intel became a Twitter and a YouTube. And, you know, obviously is a part of, I think this is Jake's network or whatever, to essentially overtake this guy who has been Marathon Intel for 2 years. I'm not too happy about that practice. I don't know what exactly went into that, but I just figured I'd share my thoughts on it, because I think it's, I don't know, it gives me bad taste in my mouth. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, I just thought that I would mention that. But anyway, just wanted to show you guys. This is a pure gameplay, okay? That's all this is. It is pure gameplay. Zero commentary. Zero voices except for mine. You can go watch this by yourself if you want. I'll link it. I'll link it for you guys. But just pure gameplay. And I looked at this and watched this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this game. That's what I did. The sounds, the sound design, the satisfaction of like downing someone, like the hit markers, the sounds of the guns, everything, right? It is so good, right? right? So I was like, oh wow, like I watched this whole thing. I was like, wow, I didn't even like it. I'm sorry. I watched this whole thing and I look down and I see 55,000 views one day ago. Oh my gosh, that is a outlier and a half for Marathon Intel, okay? Outlier and a half, okay? Then I scroll down to the comments.
To Believe Nation.
I scroll down to the comments. This weapon scope is blocked and appears to have no optics, just a QR code or something printed on that. If it's a magnified vision from the runner's eyes, that's a really cool concept. 400 likes. I feel like just presenting gameplay like this is so much more appealing than all the creators talking over. Was constantly sucked out of the experience. Game looks and feels much better than I thought yesterday. 568 likes. Finally, a gameplay without people talking for nothing for 20 minutes. I'm sorry, I am talking a lot, but you can, like I said, you can watch this gameplay yourself if you want. The marketing team did a horrible job with the trailer. This looks clean, fluid, and competitive. I desperately need this art style injected into my veins. Nice to have clean gameplay with audio. Okay, you get the point. You get the point, right? Somehow, some way, what we saw was conveyed incorrectly. And it hurts me because I know how hard they worked, and I know, trust me, dude, we'll go over this, but like what this game looks like right here in October, it was massively different. Massively different. The amount of work that they put in, and again, I'm not getting paid to say this stuff. I am not a shill. If I hear that, I'm gonna be pissed. Now it's gonna be said. Anyway, I am not getting paid to say anything. They have worked their butts off to the point where I entered some office hours and I was like, did you guys sleep? Like, did you guys sleep at all? Like, did anyone get sleep at the office? Because I'm not joking. I've been a part of many development cycles. I've been under NDA with multiple games. I'm currently under one with multiple companies. I've never seen development this fast. Ever. Ever, ever, ever.
Welcome back.
And I truly mean that.
Believe Nation.
So again, I will say that, and I'm saying that because I'm going to get into something else here in a moment, okay? So that's something that I learned, that I saw watching this gameplay and understanding, you know, what it looks like now. And again, there's something really special about this. Just the way the game sounds, you know, the way the game like looks from the player's point of view, again, without people talking, and you'll have to watch it to really understand because I'm talking right now. But just something really special about this. And this is like really, this is like lower quality, I think. But anyway, so that all being said, I think the message was somehow incorrectly conveyed, okay? I want to get into art style a little bit. I believe, and what I've been told, and again, I'm so sorry, I didn't do my due diligence and do research on this, I apologize. But I was told that Borderlands, before it came out, Borderlands 1, was hated in the beginning. Art style wise, hated. Everyone hated the art style, but then it grew on them, okay? I don't know if that's how this will be. I'm gonna be honest, art style for me, I was okay with it because truthfully, I'm a competitive player and I just want the game to feel good. Okay, art style is like, it's important, but for me, it's like, does the game feel good? Is it optimized enough for multiple computers or people all around the world? And does it immerse me enough to where I can play the game and enjoy myself? Okay. So, you know, art style, I'm kind of like, you know, indifferent on. I gotta pause for a second. This is a long cope yap. Okay, Wizard, what does that mean? I'm going to stop my video recording to ask you what that means. Who is coping? I'm literally going to stop my video recording to ask you, what does that mean? Listen, I want to make it clear. I'm not saying that to say like you're not allowed to not like this. I just want to know what the cope means. Okay, that's fine. I just want to know, like, I want to make sure everyone understands. You cannot like the game. Listen, okay. I do not have a creator code at the top right corner that says Active E, please enter this in when you go to the shop. Like, I don't have that, right? I don't. I do not win if you play the game. I don't win. There's nothing I win for you guys playing the game at all. Like, I don't get anything. I don't get a pat on the back. I don't get a slap on the butt. I got nothing. I mean, you know, I'd like the latter, but I don't get anything at all, guys. For real. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do personally is open up your eyes, because I feel like you're missing a lot. And I don't think it's anyone's fault. I feel like you're missing a lot because, well, like, and the only reason I'm really passionate is because I truly believe in this game, truly believe in it. And again, the shill comments can come through. That's okay. It doesn't matter. It's me trying to, in a world that is very dark, you know, that needs a new game. I think a lot of people are in a game rut. I don't want you to like see this game and go, oh crap, I gotta wait another 10 years for something else. Like, I think for a lot of you, this could be the next game you play, personally. And I think that the only reason that it's not necessarily like believed that way and it's not necessarily taken that way is because you're missing a lot of context. So I want to provide that. And we'll get into that in a moment. Some things that I think Bungie missed that they should have talked about that they didn't, because a lot of it is whip, work in progress, right? And a lot of it is subject to change, and I get it. But I can talk about it because I was given permission to. Okay. Wizard, I appreciate that. I just wanted to know. I truly, like, when I heard cope, I was like, I don't know. I'm not coping. I played it. Like, I spent a lot. I don't know how many hours we had. A good amount. I had a lot of hours in the office, and I had some hours remotely. So I played a good amount, and I kept falling in love with it. In fact, I even took a stream off to play it, which is scary because, you know, it's my job. So I took a day off of work. But anyway, and by the way, chat, I'm gonna read messages too. That's gonna be a part of this after. So post your comments, and I'm not gonna ban you if you say I don't like Marathon. I don't care if you don't like Marathon. That's okay. If this disappointed you, that's fine. But all I ask is that you wait till the end of this so I can try to explain what I think you're missing and what was not conveyed. This is the big thing in my mind, is what was not shown that just like it just like, I get frustrated because like they missed the mark in my opinion. And I'll explain that. And I think they missed the mark because they couldn't talk about it because it's not finished yet. Okay, so art style. Borderlands, I heard, again, didn't do my due diligence, didn't do my research, and I'm so sorry about that. I heard that the art style in Borderlands was hated in the beginning, and then it grew on people. Now Borderlands 4, is it 4? Coming out when? It's actually coming out the same day as this game, which is so weird. But it coming out, people love it. People love Borderlands. It's great. People absolutely love it. They love it so much. Some people even like the art style right now. And that's good. That's awesome. I will say, I like the art style of all this. The character art style, it's okay. I don't know. It's cool, I guess. Like, again, I don't see my character, so whatever. Like, but yeah, I don't generally like I'm indifferent on the art style and the characters. I'm like neutral. Okay. So that being said, one of the biggest things that I think is being missed, guys, when you think about oh gosh, it's a bad frame. Okay, when you think about Destiny, okay, what do you think about with Destiny? What do you think about? Let's just go back to this. What do you think about with Destiny, the ARG, and Bungie? What do you think in your head when you think of those things? Immediately what goes to my head is story. And I think a lot of people are upset that there's no campaign to this game, okay? There's no single player. There's no, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there to, like...
Our Believe Nation.
There's nothing there to like give the storyline or whatever. Here's what I'll say, and I don't have a lot of details on this, okay? But I think we're gonna go into what Hidden Xperia talks about here at one point. It's right here. I want to go into like something he talks about here in this game, and this is something that was not conveyed. There are many ARGs in the game. Hidden Xperia is going to talk about a toxic room here that you find yourself stuck in, and you need to figure out the puzzle to get out of it, otherwise you die to gas, poison gas. Okay, this is one. I'm allowed to talk about a marathon ship, and this was talked about already, but maybe you didn't hear about it. Scar already talked about it, and I think he talked about it because I asked the devs if we could talk about it because it's important. I think it's a big part of the game. Marathon ship is a work in progress, may not make it to the actual, even the launch, may not make it to the game. I don't know, but I tested it. The marathon ship was incredible. I want to make clear again, this is a work in progress, subject to change, so none of this could make it in. I don't know. I'm not there, and I didn't test 2 weeks ago, so I have no idea. Okay, but listen, in the marathon ship, think of like a place where everything is a lot harder. Okay, think. I wouldn't say think of labs, but I guess you could say think of labs. We'll just say that. We'll just go with labs from Escape from Tarkov. Okay, now in this marathon ship, there are big puzzles to get through. Big puzzles. Like, think of the ARG, and you have to like search and find little things and like input numbers and look through every single facet of every corner, every crack, every nook and cranny. There are puzzles like that on the marathon ship, and the only way you get through those puzzles is if you're able to figure them out in time. While you're trying to figure them out in time, there is teams everywhere. But I would say on the marathon ship, there's different levels, so it's kind of easy to avoid teams. I will say that. At the end, we don't know what happens. There was only one team that got to the point where they completed the puzzle, and they got to this room that looked like a teleporter room that had a big teleporter in it. And we assume that teleporter went to a boss. Now, let me paint a picture in your mind for a second. Think of Destiny, think of Bungie, think of the cinematic we watched at the end of the stream. Imagine you complete that entire puzzle. It opens a door, and in that door, you have a boss. And the door closes behind your entire team. Now you and your entire team have to fight the boss in a Destiny raid style environment with the door closed behind you, and a cinematic happens to introduce that boss or whatever. You kill the boss, you get the loot, you get out. Again, that is not the case. That is not what happens, but I just imagine that when I think of like the marathon ship and when I think of what Bungie is capable of. I think people forget what Bungie is capable of. But going back to this entire statement, why am I telling you this? This is what makes this extraction shooter beautiful. What makes it beautiful is the things you find inside of it, the little puzzles, the little things that open up other areas. People are saying that like other parts of the map are going to be open based on what someone does. The developer, we talked to Lars Bakken, right? He's a senior artist lead, I believe. We talked to him. He said you're going to have a time, or a place, I should say, to commemorate items for quote unquote. Well, actually, we'll listen to the part of the interview. I made it a short, so we'll listen to it right now and see exactly what he said.
The core gameplay is like so good. Like I have such a fun time playing the game.
Right.
That then the things like you're talking about, like a hideout style thing, like they just build and make it better. The thing that we are, again, no promises, targeting
no
for
promises
launch is some way to commemorate what you've done season to season, because again, I know we've talked about this in the past, like
so like what you've done season to season is important, but listen to what he says about what you get rewards for.
Like there will be a seasonal wipe. And so all the stuff that you have in your vault goes away, like your meta progression of your speed upgrades and all that stuff, agility boost, heat changes, loot speed, that stuff goes away at the seasonal boundary, but then you get another meta progression when the next season starts. But we do want to commemorate those things. Like say you did say you did really well, or you helped solve this thing, or you did some really hard thing for one of the factions, like we want to be able to commemorate that and have a place in the game where you could look at that and be excited by it.
So, place in the game where you could look at that and be excited about it. I'm thinking, people are thinking hub or whatever. Nothing's been confirmed for launch. I don't know anything. It'd be nice if they had some sort of a hub. I think a lot of people would agree with that, right? So let's go into let's go into this real quick. And by the way, guys, for anyone in my Twitch chat, by the way, I stream on Twitch every single weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Link is in the description. Anyone in my Twitch chat, I'm going to read you guys' comments here in a minute. I'm going to scroll up and read some of the stuff you guys have to say. So if you have anything to say, put it in there. But I want you guys to watch this real quick. This is from Hidden Xperia. Graciously, he's giving me the okay. Even, I mean, I know as content creators, we have the okay with fair use, but I like to ask before I use stuff. So he's giving me the okay to look at this. But this is one of the rooms that has like puzzles type stuff in it.
Are built into the environment, and at first they can just look like a natural part of the world. They aren't covered in HUD goo or loads of UI elements that are directing you towards them, nor are sequential steps in an Easter egg quest outright told to you. You have to look for them yourself using logic and deduction. And a really cool example of this in action are these gassy rooms. So at first the doors are locked, but you can see that the room is full of loot. So you have to find a terminal nearby to open the doors. Then, once the terminal is activated, you then have to wait a minute for the gas in the room to dissipate, and once it's gone, you can go in and loot. But if you stay for too long, an AI voice will warn you to leave, and the doors will begin to close, the gas will return, and the terminal outside will break. So if you overstay your welcome, you just get stuck inside and you'll die. The design of these Easter eggs plays into how realistic and grounded them.
So that's just one of the simple ones. There was one where we had to figure something out, and it was a big building, and I remember we were stuck in there, and we opened the door, and the door closed behind us, and the people, there was a literal team outside the door watching us complete the puzzle, and we couldn't figure it out in time, and because of that, we ended up suffocating and dying. It was the worst ever, but we ended up suffocating and dying. And so they got in and got all the loot, and they got our loot, and they got out real happy. So again, this wasn't conveyed well enough, and it makes me upset, but it's okay. There's still much time to recover. And I just want you guys to know that, because I want us to have a good game to play, man. Like I said it before, I don't gain a damn thing from this being good. I don't gain anything. I don't have it stock in Bungie. Goodness me, like I should right now. This is not financial advice, but like I feel like this game is going to blow up. I truly do. But that's okay. You know, I know a lot of people don't have that same feeling. And again, you want to know one of the other things they didn't bring up? And this was like, I think they might have brought it up slightly, maybe right here, man. Nope, not that. Right here, dude. They didn't talk about this at all. Everyone's wondering, like, where's the gameplay loop? Look, it's right here. 4 plastic filaments, two organic lenses. Unlocks enhanced backpacks for purchase in the black market. One of them unlocks storage space. One of them unlocks gun stuff. One of them unlocks this. One of them unlocks that. And you got to collect this stuff in the raid. Like this wasn't talked about, I don't think. How many of you, tell me how many of you didn't know about this tree? I guarantee a lot of you.
An RP.
Like, this is cool. You know, this is replayability right here, in my opinion.